Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Teacher Tip Tuesday. I'm Stephanie with Archangel Education and Technology, and this week I want to talk about the end of the school year. Teachers have so much to do at the end of the school year, including exiting students, wrapping up grades, cleaning up the classroom. Part of cleaning up your classroom is also cleaning up your Google Drive. I've got some tips for you this week on how you can make that a little bit easier on yourself. So let's take a look together. One thing that you should consider doing is sorting your files. So let's talk about that. When you sort your files, you want to look at the files that you have last accessed. Are they recent? Have you used them? What haven't you used in a long time? Delete the unused or duplicate copies and remove student access if you have shared any student access to your students. You want to make sure that students can access those files for the next year. If they've made a copy themselves, they will be the owner and they can access their own documents. But if you have a shared document that you have given to the students, you want to take back the access and remove their access. And then also consider archiving the documents that you want to keep. This is important because there are some samples that you might want to consider keeping year after year. And my suggestion would be to not delete those, but to actually create an archived folder that you can keep into your Google Drive. And you can make sure that you can access those later on. The next thing that you want to take a look at is creating a structure. So you want to organize your current files by topic. I always encourage teachers to look at their Google Drive, and when they look at their Google Drive, the only thing that they should see is folders. There shouldn't be any documents sitting that are without a folder. And so let's talk about the nested folder system. I want to share this with you. So here you can see this is a test folder that I have. I have a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder. That's the nesting folder system. And you can see right here that I have labeled my folders by subject. If you are an elementary school teacher, you might want to consider labeling them by subject. You also, if you're a middle school or high school teacher, you may want to consider labeling them by periods. You can do either one that works for you, but I like putting a number before so that way my folders stay at the very top because in Google Drive, when you sort them alphabetically, the numbers are going to come first. So let's take a look in my math folder. As a suggestion, I have a math folder and then I have nested folders within that folder for Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. If I take a look at Unit 1 and I open Unit 1, you'll see that I then have the chapters sorted within there. So I've got Chapter 1, maybe my topic is sorting, Chapter 2, place value, Chapter 3, addition. And then if I go into my chapter, I go further into lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. And this just makes it very organized and very, very clear for all of my future needs. And it helps to create a structure that works for you to find things very easily. It's important that you have clear and descriptive labeling. That way, you know if you have titles to your chapters, you may want to do that. Chapter 1, American Revolution, Chapter 2, Government Setup. And so there's a lot of different options that you can do, but it's important that this nested folder system, like a folder within a folder within a folder, keeps you really organized, and clear and descriptive labeling will make sure that you can easily access all of your documents. I want to talk to you about color coding. Color coding is really fun. It makes it really easy on the eyes. You can use color coding very easily. So if we go back to our folders here, color coding is very, very easy to do. You can see that if I click on these three dots here on the right and I come down to change color, I have a lot of different color options. Let's say that I want math to be this blue color, and I can click on it, and it creates my folder to be that color. And it's just another visually appealing way to stay organized. Maybe social studies is going to be red. Maybe my science, maybe I want it green. Very easy and quick to keep it colored. And you can um, do this as many times as you want. So you can keep the same uh, color system throughout. Maybe all of your math is going to be blue, and maybe all of these you want to keep the same color. You can do whatever works for you, but changing the color is very easy to do. It's also very visually appealing. And so when we talk about um, color coding, it really does make it very easy on the eyes. It really does help. And then the last thing I want to share with you is review your sharing settings. We talked about this a little bit a minute ago, but remove the sharing settings with those that don't need it anymore. So let's take a look at this again. I'm going to go back. And when we look at our sharing settings, you have an option to share an entire folder or you can share certain documents. So when I click this and I go right over here, again, I went to my three little dots here and I went over to the share button. And you can see that it's restricted. Only people with access can open the link. So that means that folder is protected. It's only myself as the owner that has access to it. So when I look at my other sharing settings, I want to go through and I want to make sure that the only people that have access to this are me. So if I come across here, you can see that all of my restricted access is protected and students do not have access to it. Now, let's say we get into our notes here, and I have shared these notes with students, and I want to make sure that students don't have access anymore. So let's say that Michael here is a person that I've shared this with as an editor on here, or I have this with it as anyone with the link can view it. I want to change that by dropping down and going only to restricted. And then I want to actually take away Michael's access here. So I'm going to click down and you have two different options here. You can go to add an expiration, which just means that you can give an editor access to a document within a certain amount of time. So you can actually change the time limit to which they have. If you want to give them access to June 30th of the end of the year, you can give them access as of July 1, their access will be gone. So you can do that and then hit done, and it gives an expiration date. You can also remove that, and you can remove somebody as an editor by just removing their access, and their name disappears from here. And so then you want to save your changes, and that gives you your permissions back. And so you can make sure that your files remain protected. It's interesting because we have students that are very creative and very sneaky sometimes, and they will go back into previous year documents and they can share and chat within those documents. So make sure that you have protected and reviewed your sharing settings so that you can have the protection that you need and give the students the safety that they need as well. So I encourage you to make sure that you take some time to review your Google Drive and clean it up at the end of the year. Please let me know if you have any questions or if I can help. Take care and have a great week.